Welcome back to Conversations Podcast. Good morning, good morning. It's your boy Drew. But please, before we even get started, hit the subscribe button. It is absolutely free, and it just gives us the opportunity to communicate further and to do more stories and hopefully better stories. Anyway, this one story that I just do not want to fade away. Okay, Epstein files. You notice lately, since this so-called war that was created, you haven't heard very much about it. But I do not want this story to die. Because first of all, if you're one of those freaks or perverts or whatever it is, you got to be held accountable, plain and simple. I mean, they got R. Kelly, they got Diddy, they mess with Bill Cosby again. Hey, what about the elites? The ones in the White House. I mean, the ones in our government. Anytime they have a vote to determine, in Congress whether to expose themselves or not, obviously there's a lot of them there. When they voted against exposing people with histories of sexual abuse and sexual misconduct, they voted not to disclose it to the public. Imagine why. So that says a lot, just that alone. But anyway, I want to give you just a brief story, about Mr. Jeffrey. Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. This still allegedly dead. But is he? I'm not sure that he's dead because, again, we've seen some weird stuff the last few years, especially just the beginning, not even 2 years into the Trump administration, some of the weird things that we've actually seen. But they can hide and they can manipulate anything, as we all know, even with AI. But got this quick clip. I'm gonna go to it and let you guys take a look and tell me what you think after.
Getting a lot of attention today. CBS News has uncovered new evidence that appears to contradict the official account of what happened in Jeffrey Epstein's jail cell the night he died. Authorities have insisted no one entered his cell at night before he died. Scott MacFarlane has more.
Notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his cell in the early morning of August 10, 2019, inside this since-shuttered federal prison in Manhattan. And this was the vow of then Attorney General Bill Barr.
We will get to the bottom of what happened, and there will be accountability.
Epstein's death was quickly ruled a suicide, but a technical failure that left only one working camera near his cell that night has created conspiracy theories about what happened leading up to his death. At the time, the Attorney General said no one entered Epstein's housing tier the night of his death. But there's been scrutiny of a particular moment on the cell block surveillance footage where an orange-looking flash could be seen at 10:39 p.m. A report from the Justice Department Inspector General notes the flash, quote, "It is possible someone is carrying inmate linen or bedding up the stairs." And the final report refers to it as, quote, "an unidentified corrections officer." But now, newly released Justice Department documents reveal an initial FBI review of surveillance video on the cell block says the flash could possibly be an inmate. And independent video analysts consulted by CBS News say the movement was more consistent with an inmate, or someone wearing an orange prison uniform, than a corrections officer. And prison employees tell CBS News it would have been highly unusual to move an inmate at 10:39 p.m. Jeffrey Epstein was found dead at 6:30 a.m. the following morning. And last year, then Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino insisted,
"There's video clear as day. He's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it."
A separate investigation by CBS News raised questions about why and how the prison maintained that crime scene after Epstein died, and why Epstein's body and another object were moved.
Well, that really shouldn't even be a question, why they did certain things. Now, the very first thing that cannot be a coincidence, how the hell does all the cameras go down? And supposedly he was on suicide watch, okay? So on suicide watch, I mean, it's like every 15 minutes or in odd rounds, they would be looking in on this guy if they're doing their jobs properly. So how could he have committed suicide anyway? If you think about it, further it goes, hey, the evidence, the crime scene, as they're talking about, the FBI did not have access to the proper crime scene because it wasn't kept properly. Now, these guys in DOC still, they're still required to know how to keep crime scenes. So that just says a lot. Either someone was negligent or this was done on purpose. And what do you think? Have you heard of any of these officers allegedly getting fired over this alleged suicide? I mean, I'm gonna have to research that. I'm gonna have to look that up because I haven't seen that. So, I mean, it's just so fishy. And you cannot tell me, no one can tell me that a guy with his type of money couldn't fake his own death. They can't tell me that. And you can't tell me he doesn't have connections, government, rich and powerful. They could get him out. More especially if they thought that he was going to tell on them. I guarantee you, it's highly possible, in my opinion, it's highly probable that they got him out. Because people forget there was a CO there that actually made this statement that he saw him being wheeled out in a wheelchair and placed in the back of a van and then going. So if he saw Jeffrey thrown in the back of this van and driven off, whose body was there? Was it a double? Was it a clone? We don't know. They're not going to tell us everything. Because, I mean, the government and these so-called elites, these rich folks, man, they do some crazy stuff. And even look at some of the accusations that are in those files. Some of the most heinous acts. Allegedly, they were going to places through Africa, hunting people. I mean, hunting people for sport. Cannibalism. I mean, you can't even make this evil stuff up. If hell is real with the fire, those guys right now are definitely tap dancing. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Any of these people involved in this are definitely headed to hell. There's some sick, low-life, disgusting individuals. And then the thing, with the children, the young girls, why can they allegedly put a man on the moon, but they can't convict anyone or arrest anyone in regards to these Epstein files? They can't get anybody. They can't prove anything. Yet, just recently, Bill Cosby, he was sued and for $19 million for something that happened over 50 years ago. Allegedly happened over 50 years ago. With no proof. They could find a way to convict him and to have a judgment against him, but they can't find a way to get judgments against these individuals that are in these files. Smell that? That's the smell of bullshit. I can't even believe that they even think that the people are going to go for this kind of stuff anymore. But I don't understand why people go for it. Because the people don't have a choice but go for it. These governments and these rich people, they get by off the misery and murder and deaths of others. They think it's a game when they can sexually torture people and abuse people. And they just think it's a game to them. They run other things. They have so much money, they just run other things to do. Oh, we'll just grab somebody off the street. Oh, we'll take them. We'll oil them up or whatever and do whatever to them. Oh, we'll go to Africa or some safari. Oh, and we'll hunt and kill the animals or the indigenous people. They didn't write about it and brag about it because they can. I'm telling you, people, we're living in a time of some very disgusting, evil people. And we have to look no further than our own government. You look at this right now going on with this Iran war with Israel. It just shows the people have no common sense in regards to morality or value of life. That's why if war is so easy to these people, Imagine just getting the individuals all by themselves. How easy it is to take advantage of them. They're making a living on misery of others. I don't think there's probably a person who's rich who hasn't done some shady, low life stuff along the way. It could be, I could be wrong, but most of the time, again, they're stepping on ants. And we're the ants. People, we are the ants. But again, I do myself believe that it's highly likely that Jeffrey Epstein is alive. And I know it's conspiracy, this, that, and other. I hear that a lot. But it's just too much stuff came out. Too much stuff. You can't tell me that all the cameras go down in that area at the same time. And then the so-called rope that he hung himself with, it was determined that that rope was not what he actually used. So the rope that they found there, they said he didn't use it, but they say he hung himself. So did he or did he hang himself? The whole thing is weird and makes no sense. And I'll tell you something too. The government, even the FBI, in my opinion, they will feed us certain things to keep us confused. They don't want us to know anything. I mean, we're the sheeple. That's what we are. They don't care. They don't care about your color. They don't care about your race. They don't care about any of that kind of stuff. As long as they can take advantage of you, get in your pockets, and keep you looking over there while they're doing something right in front of you, they don't care. But there has to be accountability for these victims. The government needs to step up. And I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know if President Trump actually did these things or whatever. But I tell you what, from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of evidence that he's highly involved in a lot of things. So if he is, even he should be held accountable. Every single one of them should be hunted down, just like they did the Nazis. They should be prosecuted, jailed, or whatever. And we're not going to get into the other crimes that these people have allegedly committed. But anyway, I want to keep you guys up on a little bit. I want to keep your minds going. I don't want you guys to forget what the victims in these Epstein files. So therefore, if you keep the story going, there's a better chance that some of them will get some justice, but you got to keep pressure on them to get any type of justice. But anyway, look, please subscribe. Black Alert Radio, FTP. FTP is for the people. Please subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free. And look, we'll keep this stuff going. But I want you guys to have a great day. Happy Good Friday. And this is your boy Drew, and I am out.